Hey everybody, Sam Kavaris in the Nimnik Buick GMC Video Sports Update. I've always been fascinated by leadership, and I wrote papers on it in college and how to motivate athletes and how it's evolved over the years. And I've been fascinated by the transition in the Jaguars over the years. When you look at Tom Coughlin and how he started and established the franchise in a certain way, very, very disciplined, but dropped some of the reins as he went on, and the team developed leaders of its own that the players were accountable to the other players instead of just to the coaching staff. You know, on to a guy like Jack Del Rio, who suffered because of his inconsistency in leadership. He sometimes was the players' coach, other times he was a guy who was a disciplinarian, and players are looking for consistency, and that's where Jack never could quite figure that out. Mel Tucker was beloved by the players because he considered himself what he called a servant leader, and that's you might have heard Kevin Durant talk about that recently, that's what he wants to be as a player. And now we get to a guy like Gus Bradley, whose idea is to basically allow the players to establish leadership on their own. And when you talk to the players in the Jaguars locker room, it doesn't matter whether they're free agents, high draft picks, or veteran players on this team. There is a thread of personality that runs through all of them, and it is they love the game and they're very competitive people. They're the kind of guys that you would want as teammates. And you talk to Gus about this, and he's very big on these kinds of things, whether it's play with humility, which is a tenet of what he expects, to be able to identify your weaknesses, which is part of being humble about that. Understand that you're just not going to be great all the time, and there are things you can work on, whether you're an all-pro or you're a rookie, and then being able to work on those and be coached to be better on those. And if you can do all that, according to Bradley, then you're going to have 53 leaders on the field and guys who really want to be better on each play, and the scoreboard will take care of itself. That's so different than so many other coaches and, in fact, so many other organizations. There's a big difference between management and leadership. You know, management is just, top down, telling people what to do, how to do it, and disciplining them when you think they step out of line. Leadership is what Gus Bradley and, in fact, Jurgen Klinsmann also brought. I was impressed by that last week, where they were able to, get guys to kind of motivate themselves. You have to get the right kind of player, and that's where the interview process comes in. But to get guys to really understand, to make themselves better, they've got to be humble, identify their weaknesses, and be willing to be coached to be better. And those are the tenets of the Jaguars are displaying, I guess you could say. Saw that on this week for the organized team activities, 4 of them this week. Don't forget, you'll see that next week when you watch the coaches. I saw it last week with Klinsmann on the field. When you watch the coaches next week in the 2 days of the minicamp that are open on Tuesday and Wednesday, look for that. The way that Gus kind of leads by allowing the players to understand that it's their job to be better. If it all comes off, the Jaguars will be contenders. Maybe not this year, but shortly thereafter. I'm Sam Kavaris, and that's the Nimnik Buick GMC Video Sports Update.